I am a teacher at Courthouse High School. There is a student here with a gun. He's inside the school shooting at the gun!
Well, I had to do it because somebody had to do something.
After shooting in the theater, I didn't have a plan of whether to die or not.
Hi everyone. I've decided to go back and redo one of my older videos, as I didn't really do the proper research before. I was just starting out, and didn't quite know what I was doing at the time. I want to make a better done version of it, so I hope you don't mind. I'm starting off with my very first video, which was funnily enough somehow only 3 minutes long. This version probably won't be much longer, as it's not a super complicated or in-depth case, but I hope I'm able to make a better video this time around. Also, I'm still working on a long video that might take a bit to write and edit. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy this video. The suspect of today's video was a 22-year-old named Brian Isaac Clyde. Brian was born September 30th, 1996. According to DallasNews.com, Brian was the middle child in his large and blended family. His parents divorced when Brian was only a toddler, so the family subsequently split up. Brian lived with his mother all the way through his childhood and school years. According to my sources, he spent part of his freshman year at a school in Dallas, before moving to Austin and finishing his high school education. Brian's mom said, quote, "He couldn't stay away from me for too long. He was never disrespectful and never got in trouble at school." This statement was contested by one of Brian's former high school classmates, a girl named McKenna Stout. According to her, Brian's actions and words in high school were, quote, "very obviously racist and very obviously homophobic." Brian's family believes that if he did say anything like McKenna states, he didn't truly mean them. After attempting to dig a little more on this, I wasn't able to find any more information. I wish I was able to find examples of what she claimed he said, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Brian's family had a heavy presence in the military. According to DallasNews.com, he had many relatives who served, including his father and grandfather. Despite his mother's attempt to steer Brian towards college, he decided he wanted to follow in his family's footsteps and serve in the military himself. According to Heavy.com in 2016, Brian's half-brother called a national hotline, warning them about Brian's depression and suicidal thoughts. He wanted to make it clear that he didn't believe Brian should be able to own a gun, but because there was no threat to an entity or individual in particular, the FBI had no legal reason to pursue this concern any further. Anyway, after graduating from high school, when he was 18 years old, Brian did what he planned and joined the Army. According to WFAA.com, Brian obtained the rank of Private First Class in the infantry. Less than 2 years after joining, in 2017, Brian was honorably discharged. Apparently, he was unable to pass his physical training exams, and thus he was not deployable. This information is according to many of the people who served alongside him in the Army. There wasn't really any more information about his time served, at least none that I was able to verify. While I wasn't able to find much, one thing I read is that Brian apparently had expressed some complaints about his peers to his parents. His father later said that Brian told him he was being harassed by the people he worked with, and even by some supervisors. After being discharged, Brian attended college in Corpus Christi. He went on to graduate with an associate degree in applied science in May of 2019, only a few months before he would carry out his attack. Sometime after his discharge, according to his family, Brian reportedly spent a few weeks in a mental institution. As far as I gathered, he was struggling with thoughts of suicide. Brian's social media presence was not unlike many other mass killers. Before the incident took place, Brian made a number of concerning posts to his Facebook page. Many of them featured guns and/or magazines, while some were memes centered around anti-government ideology, with a few referencing incel culture. He also posted images containing swastikas and Confederate flags. Brian made a lot of references to 4chan culture, including some of the memes he posted. I'm assuming most of you know what that is, but in case you don't, 4chan is an anonymous message board where pretty much anything goes. I don't have any personal experience with the site, but just keep in mind that a lot of wild things are posted and discussed. It's not all bad, but there is definitely a dark side to it. A lot of incels and other strange-minded people flock to 4chan, as they are able to say whatever they want anonymously. Nobody knows for sure if he was a part of the site, but judging on his taste in memes and ideology, it is definitely possible. Moving on, in December of 2018, Brian posted a video on his Facebook page in which he's seemingly talking nonsense.
You know, they say a lot of things about people. You know, can't eat this, can't eat that. But you know what I just want to eat? I just want to eat some food, man. But no, this kind of person can't eat this kind of food. But you know what I say to them? I say, well, I'm gonna eat it. And I'm gonna eat it real good. And these people who say I can't eat, I get angry at them. I get real angry. You don't want to get in my way when I'm angry. Because then I don't see you as a person. I see you as food.
Between December of 2018 and June of 2019, Brian made a number of posts to his Facebook page, many of them involving guns in some way, shape, or form. One of them was a picture of what appears to be the lower half of a rifle, with the caption, quote, "Getting incomplete lowers is one way to get around California's asinine gun laws." He also posted a short video of him loading a rifle magazine and called it an AR-15 ASMR video. A few days after the last video, Brian posted a recording of himself shooting a revolver and a semi-automatic rifle outside at a target.
Hello and welcome to my AR-15 ASMR. Woo-wee! Fully semi-automatic. Look, it even has a ghost symbol on it. So that way when you die, it takes away your soul. This here is an evil weapon, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and one-hand it.
The following video of his was posted days before the shooting.
I don't know how much longer I have, but the fucking storm is coming. However, I'm not without defense. Yeah. Fucking ready. Let's do it.
This video was taken during a time when a strong storm swept through northern Texas, subsequently leaving hundreds of thousands of people without power. This is why he's sitting in a dark room with candles lit around him. Only 2 days before the shooting, Brian posted a picture of his many rifle magazines laid out on the floor. The caption reads, quote, "No cosplay for me for a con, because I decided to finish getting all of my mags, 2 40-rounders and 8 30-rounders total. A tad bit late though, since everyone is going over to 7.62 NATO, because level 4 plates are now widely available and affordable and will stop almost anything." Just before 9 a.m. on June 17, 2019, the now 22-year-old Clyde made his way to the Earl Cabell Federal Building and Courthouse in Dallas, Texas. He was equipped with tactical gear, such as a ballistic vest and a load-bearing vest, which made it easier to carry his magazines. In total, he was carrying about 150 live rounds on his person. Clyde arrived and parked his vehicle just around the corner on South Griffin Street, and after exiting his vehicle, Clyde wasted no time and began firing and advancing toward the building. As Clyde quickly ran to the building, a photographer, Tom Fox, was outside the courthouse waiting for a defendant to arrive so he could snap a few pictures. Fox heard the first loud pops from Clyde's rifle, and at first, he did not register them as gunshots. He then saw a security guard and a suited man about to run past his position, and so he quickly raised his camera and snapped this image. In the photo, you can see the 2 bystanders fleeing for their lives, and in the background, you can see Clyde making his dash toward the courthouse, and the smoke still lingering from the bullet impacts on the side of the building. Fox didn't really know what was going on until he saw the fragments flying off the building from the bullet impacts. He quickly turned around and ran. He jumped out of the line of fire and took cover behind the closest pillar of the building. As he sheltered behind the pillar, he peeked around it, in the direction of where the shots were coming from. It was at this moment that he saw a man picking something up. He raised his camera and snapped this photo. In the photo, Clyde can be seen holding the magazine in his right hand that he had dropped and recovered. Clyde appears to be looking straight into the camera and almost appears to be frightened. Do you think he believed he was staring down the barrel of another firearm and was about to be shot? Whatever may be the case, Clyde is frightened at this moment. Just seconds after this photo was taken, another man, Tim Brown, began recording from a nearby building. In the video, Clyde can be seen jogging toward the back entryway of the building. You can also see Tom Fox, just a pillar away from Clyde. As Clyde approaches the entryway, he pauses for a second, then turns and opens fire on the glass doors of the building, expending 15 to 20 bullets. An officer from the building quickly fired back at Clyde, causing him to cease fire and pause for a minute, moving his rifle to a high-ready position. Clyde seems to be confused and doesn't know where the bullets were coming from. I personally believe that Clyde had no idea where these shots were coming from, and that would explain why he didn't seek any additional cover. Anyway, as Clyde stays in the open, one of the officer's bullets hit their intended target, and Clyde fires back at him, striking the side of the building again. Having been shot, Clyde flees across the street and into the parking lot. As he made it into the parking lot, he was seen discharging a few more rounds from his rifle before his pace began to slow into a heavier injured limp before collapsing behind a vehicle. The incident was over as Clyde laid bleeding out on the concrete. Clyde looked pretty unresponsive while law enforcement tried to treat his wounds, but I read that he was later pronounced dead at the hospital. It's unknown, even by his family, what Clyde's true motive was for his decision to shoot up a public space that day, but his parents believe he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Clyde's father, Paul, said in a later interview, quote, "I ultimately think he didn't want to hurt anybody. He went down there purely for suicide by cop. I don't have any other insights." He went on to say, quote, "That's just the gut feeling I have of my boy." Clyde's stepmother, Heather, stated, quote, "That's our feeling. He knew there had been a shooting down there." She was referring to a separate shooting which took place in the same area 3 years prior. She continued, quote, "He knew it was a well-armed area." Apparently, Clyde had spoken with his father about his mental health just 2 days prior to the attack. His father said, quote, "We had discussions of suicide thoughts in the past." According to his dad, Clyde told him, quote, "Dad, I will never do it. I will never hurt anybody. I'm good. I'm fine." Looking back, Paul said he did not notice a significant change in Clyde's behavior in the days leading up to the shooting. The last time they had seen each other was at a family get-together 2 days prior. Clyde's family was absolutely shocked when they heard the news. According to them, not once had they seen any warning signs. His stepmother said, quote, "There was no indication. It's just like hearing about a stranger, like when you watch the news. It's not even near the surface of who the Brian we knew was." After all, his family is grateful that no one else was injured in the shooting. They truly believe Clyde went there for reasons other than to hurt innocent people. His father stated, quote, "My son was a very good shot. He didn't have an intention to shoot anybody." He said that he wholeheartedly believes Clyde went there to be killed by police. He said, quote, "He knew the response that would come." After recalling the photo of his son dressed in tactical gear outside of the building, the one Tom Fox took, Paul stated, quote, "It's not him. There's nothing in those eyes. I know it's him. It's just like a blank stare. It's not my boy." There is still no clear motive for why Clyde did what he did. He didn't leave behind a note or manifesto explaining what his reasons were. He didn't talk to anyone that we know of that knew his true intentions. While it's possible that Clyde left a written explanation somewhere like 4chan, no one has ever been able to definitively link a post to him. His social media presence definitely gives a little insight into the type of person Clyde was, but still, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what he was thinking. No matter what you believe Clyde was planning to do that day, whether it be injuring or killing innocent people, or suicide by cop, the officer's response time was impeccable. The attack went on for mere minutes, thanks to the quick thinking of the officers involved. If his plan was to hurt anyone, it was ruined almost immediately. I am so grateful that no one else was hurt in this random and unprovoked attack. It could have ended way worse, so I'm happy to report that the only casualty of the shooting was Clyde himself. I don't know what was going on in his mind at the time, but whatever it was, it drove him to do the unthinkable. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm happy that I was able to include more and make it a bit longer this time. It was really interesting to look back at my old video and see how I used to do things. I appreciate all of the support from you guys, and I hope to keep improving my content for you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.